All right. We're about to get started here in 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. But before we get started here, I just have to pull something up real quick. So please enjoy these tunes. I like putting this up. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Today is actually a very special day. And what makes today a special day? Because this is the youngest you'll ever be. So embrace that, enjoy that. Don't take advantage of that. Don't be so quick to rush the journey, but to embrace the journey. And I have a very special message to start the show off from my guy LeBron James himself.
Happy Tuesday. It's a lot of things been going on today. Kind of got me down, so I don't really know, what's going on with me and my energy today. But psych! Y'all know what today is. Today is Taco Tuesday. What is it, Z? What is it, Miss Courtney? What is it, D? What is it, Sam? What is it? Taco Tuesday. And
what day is it? Today is Taco Tuesday. We're going to have a blast today, right? Today is Taco Tuesday. Tomorrow's Wind Down Wednesday. You guys know the rules for Wind Down Wednesday. Taco Tuesday. I highly encourage everybody here grab themselves a taco today. But let's get right into the show. Thank you guys for that. Thank you to LeBron for that very special message on the day. Today we got some pretty big news this morning. Monumental Sports and Entertainment, the corporation behind Washington Wizards NBA sports team, just brought their 3-letter domain name for one ETH. The guy who sold it for one ETH got absolutely wrecked, in my opinion. He listed it too low. Probably should have never even had it listed in the first place. Right? What's the rush? What's the rush? Why did he even have it listed in the first place? At least for that low, he legitimately probably could have sold that for 75 ETH. The same way the Patriots brought their domain name for 75 ETH, but he kind of rushed it. He felt like he needed the ETH immediately, got absolutely wrecked in the process of it. But and let me tell you what I mean by that. The Patriots brought their domain for 75 ETH and then placed a bid on the name of their stadium for 25 ETH, which I don't believe was accepted. So even if that guy legitimately probably lost out on 40, 50, 60 plus ETH by simply even having it listed, and the people saw it listed, they knew what was up and they sniped it. Now, I would say this. I think we're going into an era of sports. I think we're seeing a perfect match in the sports industry and in the ENS industry, in NFTs, blockchain, so forth and so on. I think we're beginning to see a good marriage between the two. I do have a couple sport domains myself. I would not be surprised at all if we see a lot more major league teams, minor league teams, franchises, things of that nature begin to come in and scoop up the names that are associated and related to their brands, right? I think it only makes sense. We already begin to see it. We're only going to see more of it. And they scooped up Monumental Sports is the company that owns is over the Washington Wizards. They didn't even buy Wizards.eth yet. They didn't even buy Washington Wizards.eth yet. They didn't even buy the name of their stadium yet. All that is still on the market, right? So that's something to take into consideration, especially if you have any domains that is owned by a corporation or any company names or any company abbreviations. Don't be so quick to list for 1 or 2 ETH just to get a quick sub, because that company could come in at any time frame, right, and go in and snipe what they believe belongs to them. Fashion brand Hugo Boss announces plans to launch its first ever NFT collection. We're beginning to see the collaboration between in real life and the metaverse. That is a very, very good sign. And then I have here from shout out to our good friend Gary and V Friends. We brought Gary Fish. I just pinned it to the top. Gary V Friends is now in Macy's stores and Toys R Us. So he basically this is what we mean by cross collaboration between in real life and the metaverse. He's bringing the metaverse into in real life and in real life into the metaverse. Why do I bring this up? Because Gary Vee owns vfriends.eth. He has subdomains to vfriends.eth already. So what type of utility and things he's going to plan and build on top of this, I'm not sure yet. But he has owned these domains since 2021. He sees the future. This is what I believe is the future of NFTs and collecting. It's those who promise and who could build more than just join our Discord or here's whatever bullshit founders and collectors are doing now. It's actually cross collaboration between in real life and the metaverse. But that is the news that we have for this morning. Let's pass it right over to our co-host Ron. Ron, how you doing today, brother?
Hey, good. GM Kev, GM everyone. Yeah, Tuesdays is the day I come over. The one day a week I usually come over to my office because we've got our meeting for our fund right after this call. It used to be at 10 o'clock. Remember, I used to get off early, and I just moved that to where as soon as our call's done, we have everyone in our boardroom. We do our meeting, but there's a really nice high-end gourmet fish taco place called Slam Fish or something like that. So anyway, that's my new Tuesday thing. As I go right after our meeting, I go over and have that. It's all fresh caught wild fish or whatever. Pretty crazy. I'll have to post some pictures today, but yeah, and that's my new Taco Tuesday. Doing the fish tacos on Tuesdays, so that's cool. Yeah, good stuff, right? Crazy yesterday. I'm sure if we have our weather report today. Oh, yeah, there's 3402. Always changing a profile pic, so I never know. But yeah, well, good, cool. Some Arabic names going, the Arabic 4 digits going. Other stuff kind of cooling off. Different things popping. Interesting what Kev talked about. Those 3 digits, those 3 letters, or 3 letter digit combinations. Like, man, we don't know, right? That's part of having the commitment. I know I made some 3 ETH offers on a few, and they turned me down. And it was a big company that wanted them, but they're also old school, so they may or may not. They could probably pay 100 ETH if they wanted to, but they probably won't. But they had 6 of them, and I got 4 of them for them. The other 2, I offered, I think, 3 ETH and got turned down. So, yeah, it's hard to say, but man, you never know. You never know what those 3 letters could mean. And I think we've talked about it. The day will come when those are grails. There's only 17,500 of them, and a lot of those could be grails someday. So yeah, that's interesting. I mean, me personally, this early on, I'm willing to maybe if I had 20, I might let 2 or 3 go cheaper, right? Initially, probably not for 1 ETH, but I might let them go cheaper than I do down the road. I'll become more diamond handed. I'm always willing to wheel and deal a little more early on because I always know I can take that money and buy some other things. But yeah, it's an interesting thought. You ought to have if you're only holding a few, you ought to hold because I think all those are going to be grails down the road. I really do. I think all those could mean something that you wouldn't even maybe thought of. And you can certainly Google it and see what comes up. But yeah, Kev's absolutely right. Whoever sold that for 1 ETH probably let it go way too soon, but they didn't know or whatever. But interesting thing, got to have your, if your diamond hands like Master, he wouldn't have, I promise you Master wouldn't have sold that for 1 ETH because he's got a longer term shot. Already been holding for 5 years. What's another couple, 3 years, right? So got to have your strategy, have your own plan for what you're going to do. I don't really almost have almost any of my stuff listed just because I really don't care. I really feel like it's too early to make really good sales. Doesn't mean I wouldn't be open to some offers if I even saw them, right? I rarely even check if someone's making me offers because I just feel like we're too early. But anyway, have your own strategy. Everyone's a little different. If you want to get in there and wheel and deal and grind your way up, you can do that too. There's a lot of opportunity for someone who's really flipping maybe a little, buying the dips, reloading. There's a lot that can be done there if that's your game. Me, I'd rather just wait but hey, if you're starting out with limited funds, and you watch it, there's some opportunity to buy the dips and maybe flip a few and wait for it to dip down. Look, we saw, I think the 4 digits got what, up to about 3.6, 3.7. Now they're back down to 2.5, 2.6. There's opportunities to buy the dips. Doesn't mean, if you have a grill one, you have a low number one, you're probably not going to be able to get it. But the floor ones, there's some opportunity there. So, hey, everyone has their own game. Just know what your game is beforehand, so you know what you're willing to do, what you're not willing to do, and then you won't really have regrets. But it's interesting to see the Arabic words, that 10-digit Arabic. I don't even know what the word was. Obviously, I can't read Arabic, but that was interesting. I mean, the Arabic's no joke. I think we have some people who are pushing that narrative, so I think it's got a little bit of a spotlight on it. But long term, all these languages, I think, will react the same once there's enough people. Also, I'm happy to hear metaverse stuff. I think everything metaverse related is good for us, because I think we're right there. When we say metaverse, it's such a kind of, we don't really know what that means, right? Is that VR, AR? What is it, right? We don't know, right? Everyone's trying to figure it out, but I know this part of the metaverse is going to be your digital identity, and it's going to be NFTs, and it's going to we play a role in that. So every time I hear something that's positive for the metaverse, I feel like it's positive for ENS. The last thing I was going to say is I'm pretty good friends with the Crypto Banner guys. They have a show on every day, a few shows on every day, and I hang out with them at some different conferences. And I'm real good friends with Fred, their producer, who no one knows who he is, but me, obviously. But no one knows what he looks like or anything like that. But anyway, that's one of the reasons I went to Cape Town, kind of hang out with those guys. But I noticed I've never said too much about ENS at this point, because for a long time, Unstoppable Domain was a sponsor of their show. Don't know if they still are or not. But today they didn't bring up ENS names, but they did bring up the ENS tokens. So point is, people are noticing, right? People are noticing what's happening with ENS. They're noticing the growth, and it's just gonna be magnified as we keep growing. 1, 2, as we get back into the bull market. Now, whether that's 6 months from now, or 18 months from now, or 24 months from now, we really don't know. Like I said, us, I don't think it matters. I think we're here grinding every day. We're building every day. We're spreading the word every day. We're learning new things. The last thing I'm going to say is I have a friend, one of my best friend's kids belongs to some alpha group. And yesterday, the alpha they gave him is, you need to buy these OG domain names, which is, they wanted him to load up. That was their alpha that they paid for to share with their group. So I thought that was kind of bullshit, but he knows about this show, so he should be listening to this, not going. It's so funny how people, they get some group and they think they know, and that's their alpha. Not load up on ENS domains, load up on those domains. That was the alpha of the day. So be glad you don't belong to a paid alpha group. So anyway, looking forward to the week today, and looking forward to it. So let's rock and roll. Taco Tuesday.
Bombs for Ron, straight bombs he dropped there. A couple things here. I want to start off by saying, if you enjoy Ron's voice, then I hope that you retweeted the room so more people could hear more of it. So if you enjoy Ron's voice, if you like Ron's voice, go ahead and retweet this room out for everybody, right? Another point I wanted to make to Ron is, yeah, I agree. The guy let it go too early, but I think a lot of that either was maybe he's trying to flip his way up, which nothing's wrong with that. He have liquidity. Or 2, maybe he didn't do his research. He didn't do enough research. He probably just brought a random 3-letter on the floor. I don't know. And he just listed out 1 ETH and he made a profit. Now, if you bought it for 0.1 and you sell it for 1 ETH, that's a great flip, right? I'm gonna give you guys a little story of myself. I was shopping for 3 letter domains, and I only have two 3 letter domains because they do have a little higher of a carry cost. Um, I think there's opportunities elsewhere as well. But anyway, the one I got, I typed in the .com and I found out it was owned by Liberty Mutual Insurance, right? And when I first had a list, I had it listed for 10 ETH. And then when I found out Liberty Mutual Insurance owned it, I was like, holy shit. I changed the listing price to 200 ETH, right? Because that's because I went in, I did my due diligence, I did my research, and maybe they buy it, maybe they don't, but I'm willing to renew it for a very long time. So we'll see how that goes. And that's what due diligence is. Type in the name of your 3 letter and see if there's a .com related to it. Type in it on Google, see if there's any acronyms or abbreviations to any companies related to it. Because if not, you could potentially get wrecked, like my man did for who sold it to that that's a $3 billion company, by the way, that he sold it to. But I think this is a perfect time to introduce our sponsors. I want to give a special shout out to Domain Plug. Domain Plug is an ENS marketplace that focuses on word categories as of right now and have a smart search feature. That meaning that if you type in the word cat into their browser, into their search engine, you will see every domain that has the word cat attached to it. Pretty cool, right? You could also give the domains categories as well. So check Domain Plug out. They just launched, like, I think the other day. So shout out to Bloom Capital and what he's doing over there. I also want to give a special shout out to Crypto Slam. Crypto Slam is an NFT data aggregation company, and they also have an NFT marketplace that is Dutch auction style. So check them out. They're on stage. Go ahead and give them a let's go over to our co-host, Masterman. Good evening. The stage is yours.
Hey, good morning, guys. Sorry, my connection wasn't perfect just now as I was walking from the garage to my house, and yeah, so far so good. And I think about Tuesday, I remember something interesting about if you guys watched the Big Bang Theory. In one episode, uh, I think they shared a package of food to Sheldon Cooper, the interesting guy, and he smelled it and he was saying that this sounds like terrific Thai food. So bad it's Tuesday, and throw it to the trash bin. And yeah, I think looking at the pinned post here, it seems that Japan is also announced something. They are going all in our Web3 digital solutions, including potential plans for national ID cards in the form of NFTs. So yeah, I think I kind of foresee that this day will come just sooner or later. You guys know I own Japan.is and Tokyo.is. As a Chinese, I'm waiting for someday like that to happen and see how we can sit down and communicate. Because if Ethereum is the king of the block of the blockchain of the smart contract at some point of day, then yes, yeah, it's difficult to to bypass or neglect it or ignore this. If you are going to build Web3 or NFT, then no wonder Ethereum is the number one choice. Otherwise, you are doing nothing but a rug. If you're going to other chains or you build your own private chain, it's a isolated, decentralized thing. So this just reminded me at the very beginning. I think it was almost 2 years ago when the first time I meet my partner, the ones that I'm working with on the red letter. The first time I meet my partner, was on a golf course, and he was a very good, a young guy. He's much younger than me, and but he is very passionate. I was trying to tell him what is about ENS, and I was trying to tell him what is about my project some D web, because before beside master.is, I also had a name tulip.is. That's because 2 years ago, I was kind of running a project Tulip. Although the website is created done, but we hadn't put yet a lot of the marketing effort onto it, because at that time I was planning to build something of so-called decentralized version of CoinMarketCap, because we know we use CoinMarketCap, we use CoinGecko as a tool in the past to trace the price of these coins and the trading volume of these exchanges. But it turned out to be that CoinMarketCap got acquired by Binance it was by 2020, and it seems that they are both the the people who play the game, and they are also the referee at the same moment, which doesn't make sense if they are owned by Binance. Then and Binance accidentally to be always the number one crypto exchanges as always. Then I think there's a trust issue because as an internet company, everything is centralized, and there's a database, which means there is a database administrator. Then they can cheat technically, and this is the trust problems that we cannot solve in Web 2. So I was thinking at that time, why not build a Web3, purely DWeb to integrate with all the exchanges and pull the data so that use some volume, you know, uh, use some volume, the price formula to rank all the coins and the exchanges and build a DWeb. So you can imagine this was a good project, right? I even wrote to a lot of the team leaders like IPFS and even Juan Bennett replied to me, and he thinks this is something good and interesting to do. So you can imagine, but just imagine how will it look like if I'm trying to educate such thing 2 years ago to someone who doesn't know ENS. If I want to tell him what is tulip, then I must try to explain to him what is ENS and what is hash association and what is IPFS. Out of 10 people I'm talking to, only one or minimum or maximum two, can understand little bit about it. The rest is just kind of, oh, no, 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 I don't think you're making sense. No, it sounds like a rug, but most people, they don't get it yet. So even at recent phases that I talked to some of the VCs and the local so-called KOLs, and I still believe majority of them, they don't get it yet. They don't get it. They don't even the AENS has been so great, selling 3 digits, 4 digits. People are starting to realize its value. But unfortunately, I'm telling you, they don't get it. What is the deep web? Why the deep web is evolutionary? They are still buying the digits like they are buying a punk. They don't get it, but they think they all buy it. Okay, why not? I want to buy it as well. I want to make a flip. I want nothing else. That's still why they do it. There is no utility phase or utility belief inside of these purchases, which means we are still early at this phase. So yeah, beside tulip, and right now I'm working on some project like the red letter. I'm always want to focus on something really meaningful to people that they can really use it, because in the web 2, or even they call themselves Web3 project like crypto exchanges or what those GameFis. There's always still the trust problem because the database is still there. So there's always a database administrator, and always there is a plug. The plug our damn government they can pull. That if they see something they're uncomfortable, then there is no guarantee for any of the crypto believer to leave our message to this world permanently. By 2020, there was a doctor in China who we call the whistleblower, Dr. Li Wenliang. At the beginning, he reported a lot of COVID cases, and he kind of sent a lot of articles on different BBS to shout to the people, buy some masks, prepare yourself, don't get to the lot of crowded people, because this might be a new, very, very serious virus. And the guy got arrested by the police and saying you are doing nothing but letting people know the false news. But eventually, it proved he was right. And then, when he was treating his patients in hospital, he was unlucky and he got COVID and he passed away as that year. So people to commemorate him, to put him, someone I think put him on the Ethereum page. They built a record for him, and that record is permanently, and that is something that the government don't have the power to pull the plug. And that's why people are here for the blockchain, because we hate that people with a plug. We want to be somewhere that they can do nothing about us but just staring at us, but just try to threat us, but they got nothing to do. That's why we are here at blockchain. And maybe red letter and tulip, both of these are something for people's needs, because these are Web3 projects, because these are DWeb, and these are kind of more fair game. And who can determine, like in red letter, we have a lot of functions, whether or not this behavior is you know uh, is legal or not. Like for example, lesbian wedding, should we allow it? Like killing, it is definitely not allowed, right? But who should make the rule? I don't think we should put any Web 2 of the traditional world's rule into the game and migrate these directly. And I believe sooner or later, if some people think this is unfair, fair enough. Okay, you go ahead and propose something to DAO, and that's the vote from DAO should determine whether or not this should be something that we allow you to post it on such a platform. I believe that's the right way to do in Web3. If you really want to get your voice heard, if you really want to make yourself important, okay, go ahead and buy more of the DAO tokens so that you let you become more important in this community. So that's how we should deal with things in Web3, in DWeb, in smart contract, in ENS. That none of these there is a plug for them to trace and plug. So, I've been keeping a very close relationship to recently keeping a close contact to Virgil Griffiths. The guy was very unlucky and in jail, but he was really the pioneer of the Web3 of crypto, and even the ENS, the ETH.link was something under him. So yeah, I believe we are all the crypto believer. We are all the pioneer, but we need to understand what is the direction. But the point is that maybe to you guys, right now majority of people they enter the game just because a lot of people are going, but majority of people are still not realizing its real value yet. I don't think so. So there is still plenty of room until the market to get detected and for the people to be founded. And when is that significant milestone for real that this value will be found? Maybe I will give you some hints. Like someday when my tulip.eth and red letter.eth, these two projects become famous in some channel or some not via ENS channel but via other channels that people you see them talking about these. Maybe this is the right time. This is when the utility become the mainstream. And at that point of time, if people are realizing what DWebs mean for for ENS and for the whole crypto world, then I believe we are pretty much there. So yeah, we are still early, and we are all set to be prepared for the next generation of crypto evolution. Thanks much, guys. And the last but not least, Kev, I really enjoy your style change on the music. Really enjoy all those jazz music. Way to go, man.
Yeah, thank you, Master. It's smooth, right? It's smooth and clean, and it's calming. So I much appreciate that. If you guys enjoy Masters Alpha, let's go ahead and give the space another retweet. We have two legends on stage with Ron and Master, and I think those two guys deserve a retweet right there. Let's keep. And by the way, let's get some for Master right there. Let's keep the show moving right along here. We have quite some people on stage here today. We're going to get through all of you guys. I want to hear from everybody today. And that's what this show is all about, right? Let's go over to NFT verse and then we'll keep it moving right after that. And please put your hand up, guys, so I could kind of find an order to go into.
GM, what's up? 5159. Kev, appreciate you as always. Hosting the ENS update show, staying consistent. Can't wait, man, for the day where we celebrate the 1 year anniversary of the ENS update show. I think that that's going to be so amazing. Always look forward to things like that in the future. Just knowing where we come from, where we came from, and where we started at, and where we are today. And of course, the show will be even better by the time we reach that particular milestone. Shout out to Ron, RN1.eth, Master, as always. Master, man, the perspectives that you bring in these spaces for everybody who's, from all different parts of the world, to be able to hear that perspective is amazing. I appreciate you always bringing that perspective because if anyone can't hear the passion that's in his voice when he speaks about Web3 and blockchain and ENS and Ethereum,
man, you must not be listening close enough, because I can feel the passion that Master brings to this particular space on the ENS Update Show. I really appreciate that, Master. And shout out just to the speakers, on the show today. I see Punks 1289, my girl 3402 changed her profile pic that looks amazing, 3402. And like I said before, in the happy hour, guys, there's no hitting on my staff, so don't hit on 3402 while she's working on Friday. Cold Face, I see you in here. Eat Galaxy, Eat Money, Crypto Slam, and I see a couple of more in here. J Harmony and Naughty Angelus. Just want to say that, Ron, you talked about a nice gourmet spot for Taco Tuesday that is located where you live at. I also have a gourmet taco spot here in my vicinity, and they have an amazing dish called Taco Bell Grande. That is Taco Bell. If nobody doesn't know, didn't catch on to that. Yeah. So anyway, Kev, you a trip, bro. Anyway, Taco Tuesday. It is Taco Tuesday, but I just want to kind of touch on something real quick that Kev had mentioned and that's posted up top is the Gary V Friends move that he's making into the real world, right? The physical items that he's producing, the toys. Man, this dude is smart. I think about, anytime you think about toys and you think about the younger generation, right? You think about bringing the younger generation into something that is going on, and if you're able to capture the younger generation early, then it becomes normal to them. So when you can attach toys to the metaverse, toys to Web3, access to Web3 via toys, I'll just leave it at that. You guys can kind of think about how far that can go, because it's not about the generation today, it's about the next generation. That's what you have to think about. So I'll leave it at that. Kev, I appreciate you as always. I look forward to the discussion today. Man, thanks for the whole entire community. Thanks for tapping in. Retweet the space if you haven't retweeted it out. This is where you get the alpha. This is where you come and get the most diversified skill set on Twitter. So please tap in. I look forward to the discussion. Thanks, Kev.
Two bombs for verse right there, because he went in and he dropped some bombs on us. A couple things I want to bring up here real quick is one, the younger generation, I agree, is going to be the people that really embrace and live in this world of digital identities, right? I think it's the younger generation, the Gen Zers, maybe the kids that are 4, 5, 3 years old today. They're only growing up in a world where things are becoming, even younger kids right now, you give them, you put them on Fortnite, you put them on Call of Duty, you put them on Madden, NBA 2K, all these games that they spend all day playing, right? They're buying collectibles on these games. They're buying new skins. They're buying extra points to customize their characters. This is all they know, and they're using mom and dad's credit card or big brother's credit card to do it. So imagine when you tell them that, hey, you could buy it with the credit card and then you could sell it again at a later date, which you can't right now. It's only going to take it to the next level. So I agree, man. I think targeting the younger generation right now is vital. And then also goes down to Gary Vee is doing it in a very strategic way where it's that's his target market. But we have to remember, I think almost everything will be attached to the blockchain. Clothing items, watches, shoes, what's real, what's fake. Almost everything we interact with on a day-to-day basis in the next 20 years, I personally believe, will be attached to the blockchain. It's just better, superior technology, right? And imagine people walk around with fake shoes all the time. I don't judge. But imagine being able to say, "Hey, what's the ID on those shoes?" And you could directly check it on the blockchain. So that's just some food for thought. Jay Harmony was next with his hand up. We'll go over to Jay Harmony. The stage is yours, and then we'll keep it moving over after that.
Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Good evening, wherever you are. First of all, thank you, 5'9" and Ron, for hosting this space. I've been jumping in over the past month and learning so much. This is actually the first time I come up to speak. I'm a Web3 developer in this space. I've worked with numerous teams, the IO team, uh, the Knuckleheads, Utopian Renaissance, and a few others. And I said, I'm I'm between a rock and a hard place, and with an ENS domain that I purchased, and I said I need to talk to the community because these are things that can happen to all of us, and we need to be more knowledgeable about the ENS we purchased. And I said, let me come and ask because you guys know a lot more than me. I got into ENSs like 3 months back, and started seeing the value in the names, subdomains. For example, I own Inwood.eth, which is a city here in New York City where I'm from. Well, a town here, a neighborhood here in New York City. I also have Battery Park City.eth, a few other. I just see the value. But recently, one of the things that I work for, um, I guess they're part of a larger network, and I bought the ENS of one of these people's names. I saw the opportunity months back, and I saw it was available. I actually waited 2 months before I made the move, and I grabbed it. Honestly, I grabbed it with my regular wallet. I don't think I'm doing anything wrong by making an investment choice. But long story short, after a week of trying to talk to their CEO, bit hard headed, he wouldn't even give me a number. He was just focused on the fact that I'm part of the community, and I grabbed the ENS. And it turns out that the founder of my team kicked me out of the team last night because I made this purchase. And I'm in a position where, look, I'm trying to work this out. Give me an offer. So I don't feel like I did anything wrong. But what do you guys think? I mean, to me, these are opportunities. If you purchasing NES, that's the point to flip it, whether it's Disney.com or something like that. I think they dropped the ball themselves if for months they're leaving their ENS out there for anyone to grab, and they don't purchase it. Um, I just wanted to hear everyone's opinion because I'm dealing with this now, and this is all new to me. Thank you for the time and space, everyone.
See, that's a good one, and I would love to hear others on the panel's opinion on this. For me, I think there's two aspects to this. Every ENS you buy is not necessarily maybe a flip. Some can be for digital identity, some can be for onboarding, some can be for many different purposes. Everything doesn't necessarily need to be I'm going to flip this, right? So maybe from their perspective, they kind of felt like if you're with them and now you kind of got it, probably felt like you're trying to bribe. I don't know. Maybe I could see how they felt some type of way, like, hey, you're part of this with us, and now you're trying to sell us on our own name, which is probably. I remember there's another dude who came on the show. It was probably a couple months back, and he actually got fired from his job because he brought the name and he was trying to sell it back to his boss, and they just felt like he kind of was undercutting them or lowball. I don't know. So maybe if you kind of just brought the name and said, "Hey, I want to help onboard you guys into Web3. I see you guys kind of left the name on the table. Here's the name for free." Maybe that could have been an option, and there was other things that you could have flipped, other companies that you could have flipped. I think that was a vital option. I don't think maybe you should have approached them with the idea of trying to sell the name back to them. If I understood what you were saying correctly, but I would love to hear other people's. I see the NFL champions giving hundreds to that champion. If you want to respond to that, I'll love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Kev. So check this out. I think like you're the perfect example right now of, I mean, unfortunately in this situation, but Kev, to what you said, like this is the perfect example of how to actually navigate these waters and how do you come out. It's almost like a PR test, right? Where it's like, how do you come out looking like the good guy while still being able to somewhat get what you want? And in my opinion, what Kev said is part of it, right? You position it to a point where this is the benefit of working with guys like me and guys like my team. we look out for you and we pick these things up so that you can benefit from it in the future. But what you also, the way I would position it, and I have in the, like, as of recently actually, is you ultimately tell them, this is yours. That's the act of goodwill. Give me some references that I can contact, right? Or someone that you know, some competitors that will maybe give us a competitive edge to be able to kind of get ahead of this. And this way we all win, right? So that's just one angle. Get super creative when it comes to this kind of stuff. Get outside the box. Like, try and see where you can drive value for it. Because, look, do I think it was a little drastic, the guy kicking you off the team? Yeah, I think that's a little bit much.
Yeah, and
Like,
if
let's
I
have,
can just add,
yeah,
I came, like, my whole position was, let's work this out. Uh, I've been holding it. I could easily sold it to a competitor. And I've been working really hard with this team for the past couple of months for little pay, because I know there are some developers that do the work and they just raw collections. I've been an honest person. I've been working my heart off, making a reputation. This guy is now tweeting stuff about me, saying that I'm a bad person, because I
yeah.
bought this ENS. And I just think he's taking it too far when, I did, like, as you said, look, I want you guys to get this. Give me an offer. I need to get a return on my investment. I didn't give him a price, but some people are just too hard. I guess he's just seeing black right now, and he's just
He
shooting
thinks you
blanks everywhere.
torpedoed the deal. He thinks you torpedoed the business, right? Like, that's his
But
view right now. His view is, how
but I
could
don't.
you do
That's not
something
the
like
case.
this?
I'm just a developer. 3 months back, actually 5 months ago, I saw it. I left it alone, and then I saw it was still available 2 months later, and I grabbed it. Um, but
Yep.
they're a big business. That's what gets to me. They're a big Web3 enterprise. The whole point is to promote NFTs, like IC tools or whatnot. And I'm just a little guy here trying to make a living. I just lost my job. I'm trying to make a living off of Web3. And
But
I
that's
said,
not how
well,
you want to win business.
I'm sorry.
That's not how you want to win business. You don't want to win business out of, hey, I'm the little guy. You want to win it off of your merit, your hard work, and everything that you've done up until now. That's the way in which you win the business, right? Not like, hey, I'm the little guy. Like, what's the big deal? Like, this shouldn't be so much money for you guys. It should be, this is the value that I'm driving. I'm looking out for you. I have your back over here with this. And if you had to eat it on this one, and look, everyone makes a wrong call. You're going to learn lessons. That's what life is. You have to, like, figure it out. You know what I mean? So don't beat yourself up on this one. But the dude going a little too far, that's a little much. I would reach out to the CEO directly and be like, look, this thing went a little too far. Here's my rationale and my reasoning behind what I was doing. And then see, like, we don't have, like, this could be yours. I don't want this to cost me my livelihood at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, if I made a wrong call, cool, let's work this out. And by being that humble, I think it's going to get you really far. And I think you're going to be surprised as to what can come out of it.
No, I appreciate the advice, and I'm trying to be humble about it. But the decision was made. Like, I'm just pissed off that the founder of my team decided to kick me out because I guess the guy got what he wanted. But it's a lesson learned. I feel very bad because I love the community, and I tried to play ball. But at the end of the day, I don't feel like I did anything wrong. I saw an opportunity and I grabbed it. And it has nothing to do with the team or them. It was, I'm a DJ. And I'll go on one night. If I hear something in Alpha, I'll just go on ENS and start buying different things. It happened to be that their name came to mind and I grabbed it. But
But you have a
at the end of the
community here, bro.
day,
Don't forget that.
it's sad it happened, but I'm just figuring out, I'm probably going to just throw this into a hot wallet and get rid of it. I'm so mad. Like, it's like overboard what they
Don't
did.
do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. But don't
No, I'm
forget, you
not.
have a community here. This ENS community, right? Like we talk to each other. We're strong, and utilize this community, right? Like, use that as part of, like, your get back, right? Where it's not like vengeance. It's, look, man, like, I'm part of this big ass community. Like we can get you in front of these guys. Whatever it is that you're building for him, right? Like, this community is strong, and these are voices that can amplify on Twitter, which ultimately are probably going to hit his end users. And I have no freaking idea what the hell it is that they do. So utilize this community, whether it's in talking to him. Like, you might not ever have to come up here and say, guys, I really need everybody's help. Retweet it. You might not ever have to do that. Just the mere mention and him coming to this show, invite him to Kev's show. to the ENS Update show so he can see exactly what you mean, and then like you'll start seeing things change.
Yeah, I think that was really good. I'm gonna drop some both y'all. Great advice. Great thing to bring up on the panel. I really enjoyed that, Jay Harmony. I would say don't act out of emotions at this very point. I know you're pissed. I was in a similar situation, not a similar situation like that, but you know, I understand how it feels, but just don't act out of emotion. As right now, keep the name in your wallet. Don't go listing it and trying to sell it, because if they're a Web3 company, they will come circling back around in the coming months, or maybe even years. Might take a little longer, maybe in the coming years, knocking at your door and saying, "Hey, we need that." So don't act out of emotions. Don't do nothing irrational. Stay patient. Stay part of the community, and good things will come for that. Thank you for bringing that up. And shout out to Champion for a great response to that.
Yeah, thank you everyone for the great advice. I definitely appreciate it. You know, this just happened, so I was a little distraught. And I sent the gentleman an invite. I think it's a great idea. Hopefully he shows up. But overall, thank you everyone. I really appreciate it. And like I said, I'm a developer in this space. If anyone needs help, you know, I've been developing for 20 years. I have a bachelor's in computer science. And I'm just working here in Web3 and helping many communities. So if anyone, you know, needs help deploying a contract or creating a dApp, you know, that's what I do. Thank you, everyone.
Hey, real quick, Kev. To Jay Harmony, man. I'm sorry that happened to you, man. But if you could follow me, man, and I'll make sure I follow you back. I want to send you a bottle of drink. You may not know what drink is, but you know it's an NFT that we've created in the community for the Friday night happy hour that we host every Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I want to send you one of those NFTs, Jay Harmony. So make sure you follow me, man. I hate that you had to go through that in the whole situation. So just want to gift you something from the community, bro.
Thank you so much. And that's a NFT verse, right? Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I already follow you. And guys, I've been trying to buy a ENS Maxi because I love the art. And it's like I DJ into so many stuff the past couple of months I'm trying to sell to buy, but I'm like just waiting to get the opportunity to grab one because I feel like I'm missing out. And this is, like I said, it's a great community. I've been listening in for months, learning so much. So just thank you everyone, and thanks for that great gesture, NFTverse. I just send you a follow, and I'll definitely tune in.
Awesome. Let's move right on over to Eve Galaxy. My bad. Eve Galaxy, the stage is yours. Welcome back. And then we're probably
GM Kev. Hi everyone to the community. Kev, have you noticed that when you click to give hearts, there's new emojis there? So shout out to the Ethmoji crew. They got rid of the peace sign. Anyway, Chainlink just finished doing their conference, their big, I think, yearly event, and they listed some of the projects they finished. One of them was the CCIP, Chainlink Interoperability Protocol, which is used in the creation of the subdomains, meaning it allows for maintaining data on two separate chains, for example, even off-chain for private enterprises. So pretty cool. And it is, I think, something around gasless minting of subdomains from Immutify or something. And there's something along not paying the gas up front, but only later when you mint it. Anyways, there's lots of great stuff happening in this space, and all of this can be done decentralized. Shout out to Dylan, who's a builder in the space, building some cool stuff. And so is prideflag.eth over there. He's an expert on subdomains, so maybe I'll just wait till he chats or someone from the team around how can I mint 1 billion subdomains at the most cost-effective manner? Pretty much.
That's a great question, right? That's the $1 million question. And we need to get Dylan Satoshi on this space. If anybody has a connection with him, let him know that 5159 wants him on ENS updates. That'll be phenomenal. Thank you, Eve Galaxy, for coming on. Always appreciate you coming on, and I love your banner. If you guys don't see Eve Galaxy's banner, Go ahead and click on his page and look at his banner, .com versus .eth, multi-dimensional. Let's go over to 1289. 1289, the stage is yours, and then we'll go right into our weather report with 3402.
Hey guys, GM. Just wanted to come up to speak about this Japan news on the NFTs. Digital identities, they specifically mentioned that part, which is quite interesting. Yesterday I spoke about this digital identity that the UK is trying to bring on board. And obviously, like Coinbase, some players are going to use what is 2.5 out of not really Web3. They just go one step and then just get stuck there. But in the end, these are half-assed measures because they are just trying to maintain a little bit a semblance of power over something because they're afraid or they're just incompetent. Is probably it. But at some point they will understand that they need to go to public blockchains because people are just fed up with these bureaucrats and feel that their information, that data should be their own to do what they want. So I feel that is a great power, and I feel that Japan is probably going the public blockchain route where people are be able to actually do what the hell they want with that data. Hopefully that's the case. The other thing I just wanted to mention quickly is this news about Hugo Boss launching NFT collection. Most companies, these big brand retailers, they seem to be using the NFTs just to cash grab. Hopefully not, but that's the way I see it at this point in time. But I see a great opportunity, especially for these brands like H&M and Zara, where they have this fast fashion, which is all about, every Monday they have a new piece out, new collection, cheap clothing, but, with new materials coming out, and you're probably going to buy just a really nice coat that you can upgrade. You have a digital twin on the app, and you'll do whatever you want to do with that piece of clothing. It'll be limited edition, that kind of thing. So that is definitely one of the industries that I see a lot of disruption coming from. Hopefully we'll see these a bit more focused on the long-term vision and not just cash grabs. But the point is, we're all here and looking at what they are doing, and hopefully we're going to get employed and teach them how it's done. Well, that was it. Thank you.
Yeah, there goes a bomb for 1289. I appreciate the bomb you dropped, man. One, I agree. I think there's a great intersection with that industry, and man, I'm super excited as well about what Japan is thinking about doing. And like we mentioned multiple times, my Fico did a whole report on this as well. The base layer of the metaverse is digital identity. What is digital identity attached to? ENS, right? So that's just something to think about. Keep that into consideration. I'm very excited to see how this Japan news plays out. And let's keep an eye on that. Thank you, 1289. Let's go right into our weather report, and then we'll go to ENS Punks next. But before we go into the weather report, 3402, the stage is yours. What's the forecast looking like? Thank you.
I will change my PFP, but 3402 stays. My Web3 identity stays. GM, Kev, Ron, Master, everyone in here. Happy Taco Tuesday. LeBron has me hyped, but the ENS forecast has me even more. Brought to you by Crypto Slam. Let's get to it. Top 24-hour categories, the 10K Club cooling down in volume with a 96% drop and a floor price of 2.5 ETH. The 100K Club dismal as far as volume goes, bringing in 26 ETH in 24 hours with a floor of 0.07 ETH. Arabic 999 Club dropping in volume as well, but floor price strong at 3.99 ETH. Arabic 10K Club finally bringing some heat while back in the top volume category in an almost 5% increase, but unfortunately with volume up, the floor has slightly fallen to 0.052. Notable sales, we have stock.eth, hopefully part of a plant stem and not the one that will put you in jail. Stock.eth sold for 1.9 ETH. Emoji still hot with sales. Quad yawn face woke up to an offer of 1.1 ETH. This must have been before their morning coffee as they accepted immediately. I call that not woke. A 6-digit sale, repetition zeros and eights. We have 008008.eth sold for 1.1 ETH. This next sale is a term I'm very familiar with, as I'm sure most degens are. All-in.eth selling for 3.05 ETH. Loving that sale, but loving the buy even more. Then we have the Arabic names coming in hot with an impressive 24-hour sale. And the one that started it all, Saudi.eth, sold for 10 ETH, probably nothing. Interesting bids, 3 letters, reminding me of my mother during menopause. Hot, cold, hot, cold. For the hot, LFC.eth has a $4,000 bid. And for my cold, this bid is bad.eth, also with a $4,000 bid. But as always, if you need liquidity bad enough, just take the offer. BBC.eth has an offer of 5.5 ETH, as well as Champion.eth and Net.eth. Additional news in the market per Crypto Slam, we have NFT sales from September 21 to September 22. VFriends 32.5 million versus 1 million, down 97%. Cool Cats also down 97%. Art Blocks from a massive 243 million to 7.6 million with another 97% annual drop. CryptoPunks 217.6 million versus 20.9 million, down 90%. And lastly, Bored Apes from 134.8 million to 31.9 million, a 76% drop. Until these stats, I forgot what we are in a bear market. And we have this afternoon, we have an ENS Shark Tank episode 8 at 2 p.m. Pacific time. Come join, come chill, and see what happens. The Maxi's floor price staying at 0.05 ETH and dropping to 9% total listings. That is a wrap for the weather. Get those tacos. Don't sell those grails. Thanks, Kev.
Bombs for 3402. That was great. Man, what a great report though. What a great report. I was most excited to hear about everything being down 90 fucking percent. That is wild. That just shows you the market that we're in right now. Everything is down 90%, but not ENS. Not ENS. We're up hundreds of percents. If you got in early, at least if you got in earlier, you're up hundreds on your digits and everything else. So, but that just shows you we're actively building in the bear market. This is for where if you're in this room, you are for real. You are for real, because when all your assets are down 90%, it's so easily to throw the towel in, walk away and say, fuck it, I'll be back in 2023. I'll be back in 2024. But and I genuinely do believe that those who build in the bear market will reap the rewards in the months to come. Because I'm gonna tell you exactly what's gonna happen. I'm gonna tell you exactly what's gonna happen. We're gonna keep on building. We're gonna keep on grinding. We're gonna keep on, doing what we have to keep on doing, learning, growing, investing, and then we're gonna reap the rewards in 2024, late 2023. Who knows? I can't predict the future. But what I do know is everybody else is going to come into the market and say, you got lucky. But what they didn't see was the grinding day in and day out we were doing during the bear market. They're going to come back in when Bitcoin is $60,000. That's when they're going to come back into the market. Bitcoin is $60,000. Ethereum is $5,000. And they're going to, it's crazy how human psychology works. I learned the hard way. I came in during a bull run. Now I'm building in the bear market, and I'm going to reap my rewards come the next cycle. But let's keep the show moving right along here. We have Punks. Punks has been waiting. 3402, did you want to say something? Oh, guess not. Punks, thank you for waiting.
I was just trying to give you claps.
Oh, please, I will take the claps. Thank you. Punks, the stage is yours. Thank you for waiting very patiently, brother. And then we'll go over to Stephen Miller after that.
Yo, GM Kev, Ron Master, all the speakers and the community, what's up? It's your boy Punks doing the damn thing. Man, there's another great day, another great discussion. I was going to kind of I had like one thing, and then I just kept writing these notes, and just I'll just kind of try to touch on it, speak softly, carry a big stick approach. Speaking of which, 3402. She keeps dropping all these innuendos, and I know everybody else is picking up what she's putting down. But so between Ron and her going back and forth about, the craps table, I told y'all yesterday, I got hotshooter.eth because your boy Punks is the craps degen. I got another one. There are just grails out there. So don't let anyone tell you everything's registered. There are no grails. I got sexualinnuendo.eth yesterday. So the grails just keep coming. But more seriously, Gary V, right, is what I was talking about yesterday, IP. And what's really going to kick this thing off with blockchain, right, is look, yes, Kev talked about it again today. ENS names, they might be identity. They might be your global identity. They might be a burner account, a pseudonym, and then what I was talking about, well, we're going to see an explosion of growth once people realize the identity is not limited to people and wallets. We're talking about tokens. We're talking about NFTs. We're talking about contracts themselves. It is infinite. And then where it's really going to see the kind of exponential growth is once we start naming things off chain, everything that flows through the supply chain, IRL. And that's what you're kind of seeing with Gary V, right? It doesn't seem like a big thing. He's got, some stuffed animals or whatever it is, but it is going to be everything. Every component of that stuffed animal, every color, just look in front of you. Like I said yesterday, there's not a single thing that's in front of you that does not flow through the supply chain, that does not get taxed. Well, guess what? It's going to not just flow through the supply chain, it's going to live on chain, and it is going to have a name, and that name is going to come through ENS. It's the only way that is possible. Our guy LZN, he did an article about it back in the day, and it gives a very detailed technical breakdown as to why the Internet of Things cannot exist off of DNS, and it requires a naming protocol like ENS. So that's the first thing. The second thing, I always think it's pretty cool. It gets to what I was talking about again yesterday, this monumental sports entertainment, right? One, sports. I love it. I'm doing some stuff with sports management companies, with athletes. But listen, and I've told this story before. We got new people in here, probably haven't heard it, but it gets to this idea I said yesterday, right? It's going to get to the point we do not sell ENS names. It's going to get to the point where we sell our business, and our ENS name is just one asset of the business. We might be able to keep percentages of ownership, meaning stock, equity, whatever that acquisition, the terms of that are. And we talked about some of those with Domain King, where he's been able to do these deals with some of his DNS domains, where he maintains some ownership in the acquiring company. And that's a beautiful thing. So my little story here is, back in the day, in another lifetime when I did corporate law, a lot of the businesses I worked with, they were incorporated or organized in the state of Delaware. One of them just so happened to be MSG. That was the name of the entity. And I can't get into, too many details, but sure enough, we got contacted. I got contacted because I was the registered agent of the company, or the firm I was working for was the registered agent of that company. And that company that was reaching out was Madison Square Garden. It was their general counsel saying, hey, you're the listed registered agent. Looks like your client is MSG in the state of Delaware. We're interested in acquiring them for no other purpose than they wanted that name. It's all about names, right? MSG, they already have, dozens of names, MSG Holdings, Madison Square, got all this stuff, but they want the names. And I always kind of say that is, make no mistake about it. When people look at us and they call us, squatters or anything else, there's no bigger squatter than these, archaic brick and mortar or even Web 2 companies. They own all this stuff in the DNS world. And ENS is sort of, it's this technology that's balancing and leveling the playing field. So Master and I love to talk about this point, right? There is no ICANN. There is no UDRP. They cannot rug us. They cannot take it. So that's a beautiful thing. I'm going to circle back to what Master said. He's like Kev was dropping those sound effect bombs. He was dropping bombs. But let me just jump to ETH Galaxy. ETH Galaxy, you know, he had these questions, and thank you for shouting me out because yes, you know, I'm going to be the first to say I'm not a dev. I'm not a coder because I respect devs and coders too much to put myself in that category. But I know a lot about the technical side of things, particularly with CCIP. So what you're talking about, and this is important for everybody, this is EIP 2544. This is that wild card resolution, and I'm gonna pin something to the top. So this is a tweet by Nick.eth, and this goes back to April, and basically CCIP wildcard. So our guy Prim.eth, right? He's outside of Nick.eth, True Names Limited. Prim.eth is like the main developer of the name wrapper, and we're always focused on the name wrapper. We hardly talk about CCIP wildcard resolution. Wildcard resolution is where it's at. It is amazing. This is that thing where, listen, you can do L2 layer, you know, these are those cheap, you know, you do it on Polygon, you do it on Optimism. You can actually do ENS subdomains on these L2s, and then sort of like suggested by ETH Galaxy, we don't even need the chain anymore. We can do it gas free. And check out Nick.eth's tweet. He talks about it. Guess what? This wildcard resolution supports gas free off chain subdomains. And I think this is really what probably we're seeing with Coinbase, right? Is that's the way they're approaching it. They're doing it off chain. It is centralized, but that's okay. Again, different names, different problems, different solutions, and there's room for it all. And even my project, Ben Sick. So this is the idea, right? If I implemented wildcard resolution on enspunks.eth, that means without anybody doing anything, automatically master.enspunks.eth, send tokens to it. It's going to go to master.eth. Send it to 5159.enspunks.eth. Guess what? It's going to automatically go to Kev. And I didn't do anything. Kev didn't do anything. There's no cost to it. The subdomains just exist automatically. And, you know, again, there's going to be additional steps you could take where, yeah, you could put them on layer 2, and then you could make NFTs out of them. So these people just automatically own them and could sell them. It's an amazing thing. And it's what I keep talking about with my devs from BenSick is that, listen, there's something called ethers.js. Everything that's being built in not ENS, but the entire Ethereum ecosystem is done with this language, ethers.js. It's done by our guy Rick Moo, if you know who Rick Moo is. But he did it for himself. He created this language for himself, and now there's millions of downloads on it. It's one of the most successful Gitcoin grants of all time because everything that's built on Ethereum uses ethers.js. And anyway, so the point is, it's not just, you know, the name wrapper subdomains. There is wildcard resolution. And all these solutions, like Ben Sick, it is a custom contract. We've implemented CCIP, right? This is what I'm talking about. We have doubled the number of ENS names that have websites. Why? Because if you go to vitalik.bensick.eth.limo, guess what? Vitalik's blog pops up. Guess what? If you go to tornadocash.bensick.eth.limo, guess what? It pops up because of wildcard resolution. Nobody did anything. There was no cost to these subdomains. Those websites, anybody who has an ENS website, unless it's 0 through 10,000.bensick, those are reserved for our project. But anything else that has a website automatically going to resolve on BenSick. And it's just a flex. It's just a show off. It's just an implementation of wildcard resolution because devs are devs, right? They love to play around. They wanted to be the first to implement it, and it is badass. It is amazing. And then, so I'm going to shift gears to Master real quick. He was really dropping these bombs, and sorry, I know this is long, but I do what I do here. So he was talking about D-Web, Web3. That's how early we are, right? People are still using terms like D-Web, Web3, .eth websites, ENS websites. Why? We're so early, we don't even have a language for it. We go back and forth. The community, the culture just isn't even matured yet to the point where we've got names for this stuff. So we use things interchangeably. We're still developing it. Like Master says, this is the censorship resistance. This is the real technology. This is why we're here. So that said, our guy Neiman, one of the devs of Asteroids or E-Steroids, basically the Google of ENS, he just launched a new section today of the hot ENS websites. You want to see what the most visited ENS websites are? Make sure you go to E-Steroids. Check it out. Get inspired. See what's being built. And there's that new section, the hot websites. It's really important. And again, it's fun. There's important stuff being built. But to Master's point, there's something very important. We get to the censorship resistance. And so the last thing I'll sort of leave you with is food for thought. I've been reading a lot of books recently. I've talked about it. Like one of my devs from Ben Sick, he's an astrophysicist. He gave me a book about just physics, like the history of physics. We've talked about the network state, another book that another dev in the space had recommended to me. Well, I'm reading this other book now, and this book is about it's about a diplomatic courier from the U.S. So the reason this is important is because it's about communications. Right now, we're dealing with decentralized communications. But before that, before email, we had these diplomatic couriers who carried sensitive government communications. Literally, they're like the, top secret mailmen. They go to embassy. This particular diplomatic courier traveled 4 million miles over 10 years. And he wrote this thing. I just want to read this quote again. I was reading it. I've been trying to figure out where to work it in, but it is more relevant today than ever. So this was actually written like in this letter was written in 1965. But in short, it goes, hardships on the average man will increase. Prices will rise. Unrest will continue, and more human freedoms will be turned over to the central government, who in turn will botch up things even more. It's a pathetic situation here. I only hope they can make the sidewalks a safe place to walk for women, the scenery something that can be seen without looking through a signboard, the South, a place where they don't bomb an African church every Sunday. Let's hope 1965 is as full of wonderful things for us as last year. Whatever they are, they should be new, exciting, and unpredictable. And it's a beautiful quote. It's a beautiful thing, as relevant today as it was in 1965. And we do have this technology right in front of us at the forefront of being able to solve a lot of this government overreach, a lot of these issues of centralization. If you listen between the lines of what Master is saying, that's what he's talking about. Yesterday, he talked about it, right? To go outside, he has to wear a mask. When he's running, he wears a mask. Government overreach. And so this technology, there's something a lot more to it than flipping and making money. And never forget that, because, money is good, but this is the real point of it all, is we want to change the world. So that's it. Do the damn thing.
Hey, Punk. Hey, Punk, to ask you a quick question about the optimism, the layer 2, because that's something super interesting. I tried to test it out. The naming convention for the subdomain changes, though, right? I know that you're not a dev, but I don't know if you've played with it or anybody else has. But I tried playing with it, and I think it adds another dot to it, right? I think it's something like .ECC or something like that. Do we know if there's any way that that naming convention can change? Because a lot of people are buying, you know what I mean? A lot of people are buying the domains based off of, if I buy smith.eth, it's going to be john.smith.eth. Any idea that? Have you played around with it at all, or?
So real quick, what it is, it's a custom contract. So the CCIP, the wildcard resolution, in order for it to be either off-chain, automated or L2, what we're talking about is drafting up a custom contract. So it's just like Ben Sick, right? We're not using the default ENS resolver. We're not using, their name wrapper. We are using a fully customized contract. So you can see other projects that did it, like PCC.eth. And again, what you're doing is you're implementing CCIP in a custom resolver contract to use that suite of tools. And so again, what you could do is you can automate the minting off chain. So even AWS, that Amazon cloud service, or you could do it on chain using those L2s. But yeah, you would not be doing it through your default ENS resolver contract. It would be fully customized.
So it would be, instead of saying like ECC, like one of the names might be, like yours would be .ccip.eth.
No, it would be a .eth, but again, it just depends on your devs and how they code it up. So it could be, like I said, if we implemented a custom contract, custom resolver, we'd have NFL champion.enspunks.eth, and I could put that on L2s. And like I said, it doesn't even need to be an L2. It could be, but it could be completely off chain as well. So more centralized. And even the L2s, there's trade-offs. It's not each L2, has pros and cons to it. But for the most part, what we're talking about is we're sacrificing a little bit of decentralization, a little bit of that security for other benefits. Most of the time, transaction speed and, transaction cost. So it just depends what you want to do. But again, these are things we don't talk about a lot, but it is fully functional. It is out there, and, it could be built, but it's not drag and drop, click and play. You got to have some devs to do it. Probably one of the best devs at the forefront of all this would, besides my team, would probably be the devs at PCC.eth. And they've come in this space a couple times and spoke. Amazing people, fully accessible. I mean, they are real members of the ENS community.
Dope. Thanks, bro.
Yeah, thank you, gentlemen, for that. Much appreciated. Give some punks. I do want to. There's quite some breaking news that I did not see earlier in the day. I don't know how I missed this, but if you look to the tweet pinned to the top, third one, McDonald's in Switzerland is now accepting Bitcoin and Tether payments. And it actually walks through a video of somebody placing their order where they're actively ordering some food, and then they go to pay with their Bitcoin wallets, which is pretty fucking cool, because that's what we've been talking about this whole time. That's what mass adoption looks like, right? That's just the start, right? You have to start somewhere. And I think McDonald's is testing it in just one location in a small city. And then I wouldn't be surprised to see that thing go global in the years to come with ENS and Ethereum and all that good stuff. So stay tuned for that. Check out that video. It's pretty intriguing for sure. Stephen Miller, thank you for waiting so patiently with us, man. The stage is yours.
Of course, Kev, GM, everybody, GN to those around the world. And just want to say that it is another beautiful day where I am. I hope it's as beautiful as at where you are as it is here. I want to go ahead and just put out one quick word to one of the guys that was up on the stage earlier. That was Jay Harmony. There's a really great tweet put out earlier. I'm not going to dive too deep into it, but it was from, I believe it was fo.eth, Matt Garcia, talking about, what we really need in this market as it relates to squatters. And it's a really interesting piece. I'll pin it up top, but it's a very, very quick thread. Give it a read. It has to do with the idea of what a white hat squatter versus a black hat squatter are, right? And there's a lot to this underneath it all, but I think that we can all have an impact here. And just because we find value in certain things doesn't mean that we can't, devalue the work that we put into holding them, right? So just my own little sentiment. I want to keep it kind of brief here today, but I did want to also let you know that, as 3402 was so gracious to bring up earlier, the Sharks are back, baby. We got a big episode this afternoon, 5 p.m. Eastern time, 2 p.m. Pacific. I hope you'll join us. We've got a brand new Shark joining us in the tank today as a now recurring shark on the show. So in the back half of the show, we will now have the man formerly known as Fireball.eth. We've got -4.eth, aka 7217, joining us in the tank every single week, helping cover the back half of the show for our good friend Quad Rockets, who's got to handle some other personal business. But we are really, really excited for this show, guys. We hope you'll come in. We hope you'll pitch a domain. But at the end of the day, remember, guys, if you're going to dive into the Shark Tank, you got to remember, you got one shot. Protect your neck. Come correct, because around here, every week's Shark Week, baby, and the sharks are hungry. Back to you, Kev.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you very much. Yep, I'll be tuning in a little later in the day as well and see what the Sharks talking about. We have Triple Codeface. Triple Codeface, thank you for being so patient with us waiting on the stage. The stage is yours, man. Go ahead, bro.
Yo, I'm just lurking in here. I love coming in ENS updates before I go to work, listening to all the sweet alpha, all the community, the camaraderie. This really echoes a lot of early internet communities that I've been in over the course of my life that went on to be successful things. You guys see it as like building in a bear, but I just see it as like a bunch of passionate people that understand the idea to its core. And like once that passion infectiously spreads to the world, as it's inevitably going to, I think that all of us are going to have some unforgettable tales to tell at the end of the days. I'm really stoked that we got these new emojis. This is crazy. They've expanded the scope of ownership for possible emojis that you could have. We got people in the Emoji Club that literally own these emojis on ENS, which is pretty cool. Every time I touch one of them, I'm like, oh shit, this is that person's symbol. This is their thing. That's wild to me. And yeah, it was just mind blowing that you guys were talking about these expansions of ENS into the blockchain into the real world. I'm into fashion. I'm into designer clothes. And fakery is a big deal. People wearing inauthentic clothes, So I was shopping and I bought a pair of shoes. They were some nice Italian leather shoes. And inside of the box, there was a little card. And I pulled the card out. I'm like, okay, what is this? Usually it's like, I don't know, tells you how it's made or something. But this one was different. It said, this pair of shoes is registered on the Aura blockchain with an NFT that certifies its authenticity from the factory. And what do you know? I booped with NFC on my phone, and lo and behold, it showed me the authentication of this pair of shoes that I was buying. And it was so unexpected to me that was going to be a feature. But brands are already implementing this. They're not marketing it, but they're doing it. It's happening in the real world. We're slowly seeing adoption. I mean, if you can go to McDonald's and order a Big Mac with Bitcoin, I mean, the rest of the world is around the corner. You know what I'm saying? So it's just really exciting to be on the cusp of it with you guys, seeing everyone in such high spirits. I mean, I looked at my stock portfolio and I was like, oh, fuck. I'm down medium 5 digits. That's fucked. But then I look at my ENS portfolio and I'm like, well, damn. I mean, it's not that bad. So yeah, let's keep rocking it, y'all. I'm keeping my conviction all the way until we see this thing through. So let's get it. GM. Back to y'all.
Love it. Real quick, Triple Code Phase. What communities, you said, just kind of remind you of some early internet communities you were part of. Is there anyone that comes to mind that you could probably say, hey, this reminds me most of that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge gamer, so like a lot of the most influential and important gaming communities that I was a part of early on, like early CS, early, EverQuest, early WoW, like shit like that was just like a small group of dedicated people who knew about this idea, the idea of like a massively interconnected world that had this total interoperability about it and this total sense of community and had this digital identity that you put upon yourself. Like, we're experts in crafting digital identities, right? We go to Google and we have one. We go to this game world and we have one. We go to YouTube and we have this digital identity, and that's cool. But like people in the future, the kids and all that, people experiencing the internet of the now, as it turns out, in the future, are going to be dealing with a malleable single identity, and it's a pretty distinct difference. Like when I was in early YouTube, you know, it was like 2005 or six, I think, and like seeing these early creators come about and then like, you know, come and go, they lost their identity, so to speak, and they lost all the aspects of it when they left that platform or something. They lost the people they made connections with. They lost all this data and information. But with a portable identity, the one that we're talking about now, the one that we're focused on, that person ostensibly could move to anywhere in the metaverse, and those people would still be with them in a sense. They would be able to connect with them and be like, hey, this isn't, you know, the thing I was doing, but it's a new thing. Do you still want to check that out maybe? And, you know, there's the chance for this reevaluation and bringing along all those connections, so to speak. You know, all those game worlds and communities and stuff that I talked about, a lot of the people in them are gone with the wind, you know what I'm saying? And you're never going to see them again. And that's impactful. Truly, it is. When you dedicate yourself to an online identity and you make these associations and connections, and you know these items you get, and you spent 100 hours to get the item with your 39 other friends, and then one day all of them are gone, and then they take the server off and the item's gone too. That's a loss. So I see this technology as being hugely important for preserving that sense of scope of people's lives. The digital connections that I made in some ways were more real and meaningful and impactful, spiritually and physically, than lots of relationships I had in real life. And the aspect of losing that in the blink of an eye at the whim of some third party or something is pretty daunting, and makes people not go all in, right? Why would you go all in and spend 10 years playing this game when the people in it and the items in it and stuff are likely to disappear? So, but this crazy system we're building now, that idea is going to be sealed in a tomb and gone forever. You will have perfect preservation, if you so wish, of all these people and hopefully all the items and things and stuff that made your life special and made you have those memories, right? Like, we're all here for the ride. We're all talking about how special this is and how we know that it's a big deal, but we're talking about it like that because we know that it crystallizes a human moment. The aspect of all coming together in this chat, for instance, every damn weekday is hugely important. And with these names that we have, we're never going away from each other, you guys. We have lifelong connections through the chain, and that's special. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love that, man. You make great points. I couldn't agree anymore with you. Dragging and dropping your identity cross platforms is absolutely amazing. Let's go over to NFL champion. Then we'll go over to Crypto Slam, and then we'll end it with just chills.
Yo, Kev, I do have some news that just crossed the wire, but Kev, I just have a quick question for you. Like, when you look at my handle, like, how do you actually read it? Just so I understand. Like, how would you read my handle?
Your handle? Oh, the trophy?
Yeah, but how would you does it correlate to kind of what you know in terms of like NFL champion?
No, it doesn't. Actually, I was just calling you NFL champion off of but nah, not really.
Damn, that was gonna be my segue to this.
The champ is here! The champ is here! The champ is here! Woo! The champ is here!
It's a participation trophy, isn't it? That's what I thought.
But no, the good news there. Hey, by the way, Zodiac, Elon Musk is now proceeding with his bid to buy.
Oh, you got rugged? What happened?
Oh, my fault. I was talking with the mute button on. My bad. Zodiac, I had good news for you. It looked like Elon Musk is moving forward with his bid to acquire Twitter. So it looks like those conversations he had with Jack were pretty effective.
That's incredible. I mean, I hold the Cancer Zodiac emoji, and I'm gonna sell it to him one day. Hopefully, we'll see.
Let's go.
Now, I don't know if Elon Musk buying Twitter is a good idea or not, but only time will tell, and nothing we could do about it, right? So we'll see how that plays out in the near future. Crypto Slam, and then we'll end it with just shows. Crypto Slam, the stage is yours.
Hey, GM, everyone. GM. Awesome conversations today and questions. Definitely appreciate the forum for advice and community. I think it's fantastic that we're having these conversations in public out loud. And it's extremely valuable for myself, and I'm sure it's valuable for the community. So we're just super honored to be a part of this thing and help bring this to life with our sponsorship. But just kind of wanted to jump on here and touch on a few of the things that were mentioned. So for those that don't know, CryptoSlam, we are a data aggregation platform. We track data across over 17 different blockchains, and so we people leverage our website in order to get a great understanding of the market at a macro level, as well as drill down into numbers at a micro level as well. And so, you know, when we look at the market, it was interesting. One of our followers, who is also a reporter for, let me see, where does he report from? He's a reporter at Action Network. He made a tweet that was really interesting. He basically tweeted out collections like V Friends, Cool Cats, Art Blocks, Crypto Punks, and Bored Apes. When we look at September sales, and when we look at September sales from 2021 versus 2022, each of those, excluding Bored Apes, is down, over 90%, Bored Apes being down 76%. However, when we zoom out, and look at the ENS market, ENS is up tremendously. ENS is up over 171%. And so we're talking millions on millions of dollars, and also thousands of users, and people joining this community. So I just think it speaks to the conviction of those who came in early, and even those who came in recently. You're still part of that group that came in early, which is just fantastic to see. And also just looking at things. So like when we talk about the ENS and what makes it so powerful, I love that Coldface touch on the cross platform brand identity. That piece of utility is so invaluable. A good portion of Web3 is focused on ownership of data, and so I think we're going to see social media platforms. We're going to start to see social media platforms where, if you spend time building this audience, but eventually that audience doesn't just belong to Instagram or YouTube, for example. I think we're gonna get to a point where the audience that you build, you have some type of touch point connected to your ENS identity. So it's the potential of taking this audience in and having some type of direct line of communication that you're building. And so I'm excited for those who are building in the social media aspect of Web3, as well as the gaming aspect. We've been fortunate to, on our podcast, bring up some of the top builders in the space. One of which that comes to mind is Grant Hansley, the founder of Undead Blocks, which is a first-person shooter game very similar to Call of Duty Zombies. And this guy is just a thought leader in the space. And a good part of our conversation that we did bring up was how ENS will eventually be implemented in the game, and the ability to have your handle, like your gamer tag, be your ENS name, so that when you win prizes and things like that in the game, different skins, when you unlock different loot boxes, things like that, it can be sent directly to your ENS, and that actually be your gaming handle, which is just fantastic. So they're just starting to build. These game developers are building with ENS in mind, which is just really, really awesome, because that brand identity just transfers right over, which is just great to see. So we're just really excited to be in the space, and kind of wanted to touch on the things that are being built as we see it and as we know it, and just super excited for it. So yeah, just kind of wanted to throw that in there as well.
Yep. Thank you, man. That is Crypto Slam, our sponsor for the show. So if you haven't followed them already, go ahead and give them a follow. I appreciate coming on and sharing your perspective and your thoughts. Much appreciated, man. This is our anchor for the day. We're a little bit over time here. Let's end the show with Just Shields and Flex. I see Flex requesting that, but Flex, we're a bit over time here today, brother. Please come back on tomorrow, and we're going to end it with Just Shields. Welcome to the stage, man.
Hey, man, 5159. Thank you so much. 5159, man, I just wanted to give you a special shout out. I'll keep it really brief. If it's okay with you, I'll step down and we'll bring Flexer right up, man. This space is about the community, and I'm all for the community. if I don't step down right now, I don't think I'm going to be doing the right thing, the ethical
No,
way of doing things.
it's all good, bro. He stopped requesting. It's all good.
Okay, got it. Well, first of all, 5159, thank you so much for hosting these spaces with along with Ron and Master. Dude, you just hit 11,000 plus followers, and man, it seemed like we all. I don't know. I just feel like very happy to be part of it. So, the community, if you're not dropping hearts right now for 5159, I don't know what you guys are doing because by now we should all be able to multitask this. Come on, I'm loving these hearts. Thank you for doing that. I want to give a special shout out to Zero Zero Coin as well because there were a few things that I felt like, but it was my mistake. But I feel like the way he handled it and the way they're doing things, I feel like with the Enos Vision, it's a great thing that they're doing. So I just want to say thanks to them. And I do want to give out some partnerships, certain partnerships with something that I'm building, and because I feel like this is a very big piece of a puzzle, and everybody can eat, and everybody can shine together. It just doesn't have to be one person. So if there's anyone who has some sort of a talent and they would like to connect with Just Shills, then absolutely I'd be more than happy to do that. Appointed if we do things the right way, the ethical way, I'm up all for it. But 5159, man, thank you so much for hosting these places, man. I'm not going to take a lot of your time. I know we're overboard. And thank you for everything that you do. And thank you for all the winners in this space. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to the speakers. Thank you to the listeners. Thank you to the panelists. We're building something special here, right? We're building something special and we're building it together. ENS Updates. ENS Updates is not about me. It's not about me. It's about all of us, right? It's all of us who are building this thing together. Without the community, the show would be nothing. So thank you guys for coming back and tuning in and tapping in. With that being said, 5159 is out. See you guys for Wind Down Wednesday. Peace.